I think, let's frame this, right? And let's back up a little bit and give some context to those ideas. So, Earl, do you want to try and paint the landscape for us
Right.
before we jump into details here?
Sure, I'd be happy to do that. So in my webinar, I made basically two big arguments. One argument is that the real difference between Waterfall and Agile is not that one is more adaptive and one is better and one is nicer and one treats people better. That's the difference between well-run projects and poor-run projects. It doesn't matter what methodology you're using. How you treat your people is independent of the methodology. Agile maybe promoted that treating people well more than Waterfall did, but we did great waterfall projects back in the day. So it wasn't all that kind of stuff. It was really about, if you run both of these well, you have to iterate to learn somewhere. And I said, waterfall iterates and learns early in the project, particularly through requirements and design via modeling. That's how you do waterfall well. And Agile tends to iterate and learn late in the development cycle for a particular object. They want to iterate and learn in working software via creating code. So, and code is really just a detailed model, right? It's the ones and zeros that run anything. Code is just description saying, hey, compiler, create ones and zeros like this, please. So you have to decide where to iterate and learn. So that was one big argument in that. And I think that's something that we got a lot of questions about and like to go in a little bit deeper on. The second big argument is, okay, so you iterate and learn. That's the main difference. Okay, well, if you buy that, does it matter who you have on the project? And I kind of said, well, it kind of does, right? If you think about the skill level, if you have the most skilled people on the planet, which I say are relatively few and far between, then doesn't matter what methodology you're going to use to the most part, you're going to be awesome. So the question comes down to an economic one as opposed to a technique one. If you have moderately skilled people, which I said there's a bunch of them, but they're not that plentiful, then we can make different trade-off choices. And if you have normal people, which I think are the vast majority, and normal people being fair to somewhat low general skills, they might have some narrow skill bands that they're good at, but generally, if you ask them to step outside their comfort zone, they look like ducks, deer in headlight. You're going to have troubles, right? So we said, okay, given these different things, which of these two techniques would I choose? And I came up with an Earl scorecard that said, okay, here's why I would choose this set of methods, Agile methods, or Waterfall methods, given these kind of scenarios. So that's all in the webinar that's on YouTube that you can see if you want. But no, I think that was the lay of the land before I meander on.
I think those are both incredibly relevant. And I think the last one I would add is whether or not you're working on what we kind of called a wicked problem. Right? A problem that you have to partially solve or fully understand, and maybe worth a little bit of time today talking about the Cynefin framework, and kind of that idea of some things are more knowable with some effort and some things are like giant blobs of uncertainty. And which approach are you going to use if you have a giant blob of uncertainty? I would suggest you probably want a different approach for that.
I think that seems reasonable. One of the things we'll have to think about is really how unknowable is it? Is it unknowable if we just go around and say,